Hello out there in television land and welcome to this month's edition of Stump the Chumps with my co-host Al Wheel.
Hey, Herb.
We got a full house here today, folks. So wake up the neighbors, round up the kids, come on, to heck with the news. You'll catch it at 11. Tune in to the prize-winning show. Join us with your calls and comments. We're zeroing in on Winooski this month. I'm joined here with our good friend Don Weston and the Clavelle gentlemen, both Bob and Ray. And I'll tell you one thing, you may have been able to stump Al and myself, but when it comes to Winooski, we're no chumps. We know who to bring in as resident experts. Here's what's going to happen. For the next 23 minutes, you're going to see a film filled with questions about Winooski. Watch it very closely and intently, and then call in with your answers and more of your questions to try to stump us. So we'll be back in about 23 minutes. Watch the film.
Winooski, a city in Vermont. You've got the kind of style that any town would want. From the top of the hill to the Champlain Mill, you mean so much, you've got the touch, you are a civic thrill. Hey, there Winooski, love strolling up Main Street. The pitch of the hill really gets my heart to beat. You're going great guns, you're number one, you're 1 square mile of fun. Oh, Winooski, you're my home. Hey, there, Winooski, I'm on a shopping spree. I do all my buying there, 'cause all the parking's free. Boogie down at Sneakers, the game's on at McKee's. Oh, you're the town that wears the crown because you aim to please. Hey, Onion City, you may not be Rome, but don't you know I love you with out the dome. Municipality, that's a pal to me. Oh, Winooski, you're my home. Oh, Winooski, you're my home. Hey, there, Winooski, you're not at all awful. And you have a mayor whose name is Willie Norfolk. Heads up, Winooski, the plane's flying low. I recognize the pilot, yes, I think his name is Joe. Joe! Hey, Onion City, you really deliver. Why, you've got your own post office and your very own river. No matter where I go, I'll always know that Winooski is my home. Oh, Winooski, you're my home. My home. My home, my home.
Here with Jim Myers at the top of the Winooski Main Street Hill, in an appropriate spot to begin our discussion of Winooski for the Stump the Chumps program. Welcome, Jim, and why don't you tell us a little bit about your history of growing up here in Winooski?
Yeah, I lived in Winooski for 46 years, still work here at the Winooski VFW as a club manager, as well as doing real estate work. I work.
No matter where I go, I'll always know that Winooski is my home. Oh, Winooski, you're my home. My home, my home, my home.
Here with Jim Myers at the top of the Winooski Main Street Hill, in an appropriate spot to begin our discussion of Winooski for the Stump the Chumps program. Welcome, Jim, and why don't you tell us a little bit about your history of growing up here in Winooski?
Yeah, I lived in Winooski for 46 years, still work here at the Winooski VFW as a club manager, as well as doing real estate work. I worked for the city. I did work for the city for 12 years, park recreation director, supervisor of urban renewal, community director for the Model Cities program, and I also served on the Winooski City Council for 6 years, 5 of those years as a deputy mayor.
Well, you've obviously had to put up with this enormous amount of traffic up and down the Main Street Hill. Bear with us, listeners and viewers. Jim, there must be a couple of questions that you can start us off with relative to the building right here, the VFW in Winooski.
There's a lot of history in this particular building, and in particular the people that were associated with it before the VFW purchased it. I think one of the main questions, wondering if anybody really knows who the building belonged to, I can give a couple of hints. The building was owned by the first superintendent of mills, and this individual was also the second mayor of Winooski.
All right, well, why don't we also throw out as a question right now the listing of the mayors of Winooski? That ought to be keeping people busy chronologically over the years. Who can tell us, for example, when was this city incorporated? What was it originally? Things of that nature. We're going to accept your calls right after you watch this film, which should run about 15 minutes. Jim, we're standing right in front of a tank here. There'll be another, well, I'm sure it's not funny to the fellow involved with it, but there's a tank story that you can relate to us also.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure about the year. Maybe somebody can enlighten me as to the year, but we were coming down to Burlington from Camp Johnson, the National Guard camp, coming down to a parade that was being held in Burlington, and there were about 15 to 20 tanks and armored personnel carriers. I was driving an armored personnel carrier directly behind a tank, and all of a sudden the next thing I saw is the tank go on top of a automobile and flattened it completely, and that happened down here on the corner of Main and West Allen Street.
Anybody remember that incident? Who was involved with it? Where were you? What can you tell us about that particular incident? Jim, you're going to join us. Al's our cameraman, and we're going to take a scenic vista view from here down Main Street, going down one side, up the other, passing a lot of places now that have a lot of historical basis and have a lot of different interesting people and places that were here before the current places.
Fine. Be happy to go with you.
Stop is right near the corner of Main and East Allen Street, going down the Main Street Hill. And we're joined here by Don Weston along with Jim Myers. Jim, what questions can you contribute here in this location?
Well, the three businesses that were here at the time that the building was destroyed by fire, the year, and what the three businesses were, and something about some of the businesses, like who owned the sweet shop. I've already given away.
That's okay.
And also the owner of the other businesses and the people that work there. I'm sure that many of the old timers in Winooski know everybody that worked in each one of the businesses.
Okay, Don, we're standing then a little bit away from where a theater was here in Winooski. I'm sure you've been there many times.
That's correct, many times.
Now, you got a few questions that you could ask about the theater.
That's right. I would like to know who owned the theater, what year it burned down,
Right.
and also what the last movie that was played there, and the names of the ushers and the projectionists.
Beautiful. We're right at the corner of Main and East Allen Street, looking at McGregor's Pharmacy. Jim, some question connected with that?
Well, it wasn't always McGregor's Pharmacy. It was under another name, again, back, I'd say maybe 20 years ago, 25 years ago. And most of the businesses that are in the Winooski block have changed significantly over the years from what they were before.
Okay, that's what we want to know. We want to know the former names of businesses here downtown Winooski.
There were, a multitude of stores. There was, I can name some of them. There was a liquor store. There was a Grand Union. The bank, the Howard Bank, at one time was in the Winooski block. The post office was there.
All right, we just want to know the various names of businesses in the Winooski block. Mm-hmm. Looking here on East Allen Street, from the corner of Main over to the cupola.
What we'd like to know was what were the businesses between the corner of East Allen Street over to the cupola? What types of business were they, and how long ago did they get torn down?
Good. All right. We're focusing over there on the cupola. Anything in connection with that?
Yeah, I wonder how many people know where it came from. Originally, it came off one of Winooski's buildings that was destroyed by fire, and therefore it has a lot of history connected to it. that it was put in there by the Community Development Department just a few years back. It was refurbished and reset.
All right, and somebody should even know where it came from and the year that that fire occurred.
Right.
West Allen Street, Jim and Don. Let me ask you first, Don. What questions can you give us about this location here?
We'd like to know exactly what was here originally.
We're talking in the 30s and 40s anyway.
Yeah, 40s, yeah, at least late 40s maybe. Right,
There was a
roughly.
business, and then right next door there was another business.
That's correct.
Okay. Now, next to those businesses also, Jim, there was something else, right?
There was a little alleyway, and then there was another business that had a lot of history, and a lot of the people from Winooski, police chiefs and mayors and councilmen, this was kind of a hangout for them.
Okay.
I guess you might call it a political gathering place back in the 30s, 40s, and early 50s.
All right, and there was a dead-end street here. Does anybody know the name of that dead-end street? The current post office. And fellas, there must be some questions concerning this site.
Definitely. Again, we're back into the 40s. There was a grocery store, which is part of a big chain of grocery stores that hasn't been in Winooski for, I would say, 35 years. It was on the corner. And then there were drugstores, there was a jewelry store. The owners, I think, would be an interesting question. Who owned the drugstore? Mm-hmm. There was also a novelty store that was in this block. And I mentioned before, when we were up on the hill, about the tank running over the car. It happened right here in this block in front of the drugstore that was there at that time.
Okay. Mail carrier. Fix that hat. Fix that hat. We're at the corner of East Allen and Main Street. Now we're looking down the Main Street hill, Don, and there were a number of businesses here, correct?
That's correct.
So we're looking for the names of what types of businesses, or how many were there about?
We would like to know the types of businesses in what sequence they were from the top of Main Street across the road here down to the corner.
Down to where like the light is down there now.
And there were several of them,
right.
And we would like to know what they were
and who owned them.
And who owned them.
Beautiful. West Center in Main Street. Now a little parking lot. What's the significance of this place, Jim? You can ask the questions here.
Well, what is a parking lot now was one of the important buildings in the community at one time. It burned down a few years back, and there were a lot of businesses that were in this particular building. A lot of things have happened in this building. Who owned it? Where the word came from that actually the building was called without giving this name away. There was a club in here. What club was in here? I think that it ended up in the final stages. The building was used for a bingo in the lower level, as well as there was some kind of a canvas place. They made sales, I believe it was up on the top floor. But prior to that.
We're on the corner of West Canal in Maine. And Jim, you were talking about the numbers of buildings here now that, well, they've been damaged in some way or another, right?
Yeah, there were always buildings here, but you found it on both sides of the street. At different times, they were gutted by fire. This building hasn't really changed. It was a brick structure. It hasn't really changed that much since the fire, even though it was gutted. But there were a lot of different businesses that were on both sides and in the block itself. The other side has changed significantly back from the old days of what it looked like then. But there were definitely some places that were in there that people could relate to that lived in Winooski back, again, like I said, in the old days, 30s and 40s.
The barber shop is now and presently.
Okay, we're looking on the other side of the street here, West Canal Street. And your questions are the businesses that were located in these two buildings here.
Right. We would like to know what was there, what type of business, and who owned them.
Okay. Is viewing for us the current location of the Peking Duck House, formerly known to all the collegians in the whole area, including even the old New York Giant football players used to go in there. I got two questions about there. Name me the types of beers that you could buy from Julie, and name me the mixed drinks that were served in that particular place. What was it called, and the drinks that you could buy there? And that historically, Winooski was divided up into different areas. Why don't you ask a question concerning the locations?
Well, not so much now in present day, but Winooski was divided up into 4 sections. We're standing in one of the sections. Actually, you'd have to get a little further down on East Canal Street or West Canal Street to get into the area that was on this side. And then on the other side, that was another very distinct area. It had a very distinct name that people would call it. Again, the older people would know. Younger people wouldn't even know what you were talking about. If you said that you were going down to such and such an area, you would call it by that name.
And we're talking about 4 different areas.
Yes.
Okay. Here's the bridge done, and looking over in this area, it's an open grass area. Way back, it used to be just filled land, but about 30 years ago, you have a question about that?
Right, there were some things. There were over there businesses. They were over there in a grassy area over there.
Mm-hmm. Now where the pawn shop is.
Okay, that has a different business in there also.
Okay.
And right directly across the road was a name of a restaurant. And I want to know the name of the restaurant and who got murdered over there.
Canal Street, Jim. And I can remember as a kid, there used to be a building here, had a veranda around it. We got a question about that.
Right. Well, I think it would be best to say what it was when it ended up. When Urban Renewal took it over, it was a hotel. But prior to that, it was very, very active, in particular during the time that the 40th and Allen was in going strong with the paratroopers and whatnot. And who the owner was at that particular time, who ran the place, and the name of it would be very interesting.
Very good. Here with Jay, the bartender inside Poppy's Prime Factor. Jay, did you know that we're standing on historic ground here, and that, in fact, the flowing waters of the Winooski came up a great deal higher than we're presently located. Any idea how high those waters actually came?
I would say approximately level with this window right here.
And we're on the first floor of the building, and there's a floor below us.
The first floor was completely flooded.
So, and do you happen to know the year of that flood?
I believe it was 1924.
1924. 1924 is his guess, but we're asking our viewers exactly what the year was. And Don, come on in here. What other questions are we going to ask about the flood itself? Okay, now we're taking a view of where the flood was actually causing a lot of damage in terms of the connecting bridge with Burlington and Winooski. Now, Don, what questions can we ask about that?
Well, first we would like to know what was actually the cause of the flood, or what we know it was rain, but what specifically was the cause. Also, what was the exact date that the flood? We know it was 1927, or.
Well, we know it now. You said 1927. What are the exact dates that we're talking about?
Right, the exact date that it happened.
Right.
And also, how long did the rains last from what date to what date?
Okay. Now, we also know that there was a substitute bridge put in here, and actually several. We'd like to know how long it took to put up that first little pontoon bridge here. And then, actually, it lasted for how long? We want to know that. And what occurred right after it was erected? It was actually had to be replaced a couple of times. Does anybody know the actual history of the construction of those bridges? We are spanning across, looking over at the one section of mills. We think that there were 3 mills, right, Don?
That's correct.
So we're looking across over at which one?
That's the Chase Mill over there.
The Chase Mill. We're standing in the
Champlain Mill.
And there's one across the road.
That's called the American Woolen Mill.
Right. Now, you told us you know what product was made in which mill.
at the American Woolen Mill.
We know what product, and then we're asking that. What product was made at the American Wooden Mill, and what specific products were made at the Chase Mill and the
Champlain
Mill? We don't know. In front of the Champlain Mills, and we learned a lot about the history ourselves looking at these plaques, whatever. We hope we haven't misled the viewers at all. If we have, they'll call us, I'm sure. But we also want to know what information will we get from here?
All right, we'd like to know, there was two businesses here at one time on this corner, this particular spot. We'd like to know what type of businesses they were. There's two different businesses, and if somebody can recall as to who owned them.
Right. We're talking about right this area here, going right down to near the bridge.
Right near the bridge, that's correct.
Okay. Looking at the block that's going from Canal Street over to Center Street as we look up Main Street. Don, what questions we got?
Well, we'd like to know what the original businesses were, and
I mean, we're talking the 50s and the 60s.
50s and the 60s back then. From that point over there to the other end up there.
Which is a Forest Hills restaurant, or what's it called up there now? That's that bar up there now, right?
Yeah.
Stolitz or something?
Right.
So we're starting at this corner, which is now opening as a Walk Express, but it had several businesses in there. What were they? And going up the hill.
Going all the way up the hill, and we don't know what the businesses were.
Don,
different types.
I know one thing I can recall, and you could too. If we'd be rich people if we had $1 for every bar and restaurant that was located around here.
Oh, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. There was a lot of them.
Okay. Here at the corner of West Canal and Main, and Don, you were telling me, well, something that resulted in a question. What's the question here?
Okay, we'd like to know the name of the officer that used to direct traffic out here, and what happened when he came by, or when a car from GE came by, and he had his hand out there, and all of a sudden somebody put their hand out, and he opened his hand, didn't realize what he was doing, and there was a whole spring of sausages in his hand. He's standing there looking at his hands. I want to know the name of the officer that was doing that.
Okay. He would be complete without stopping by the Woolen Mill and discussing what it used to be during the late 50s to mid 60s. And Don, you're the perfect person to speak with because you worked here for how long?
I put 19 years in this building.
Okay, obviously somebody will remember the name of the business, and once we have that, we want to go through the various departments that were in here. And you know all the concession people. You also want to ask who was the original owner of that business. What other questions? Oh yes, down here.
Right down there. What was located just to the left as you're looking at the building?
Door, right?
The main door. What was that business that was located there? We'd like to know the answer to that there.
Also, they were in the back, in the lower parking lot area.
There was
two businesses that I can think of.
That's right. We'd like to ask you what they were.
Right. Now, somebody can take us through a visual walkthrough of the building and tell us what different departments were located in what spots, and you'll be able to tell us if we're right or wrong.
That's correct.
And you also told us of the pet department located way in the back near the men's wear.
Yes, that's correct. We had a pet department way back there, and the story I'd like to particularly mention was they had a 9-foot boa constrictor in that department. Well, apparently what they tried to do was they were feeding this boa constrictor, and they put in a rat inside the cage where the boa constrictor was. The rat darn near killed a snake. They had to take the snake over to Plattsburgh because there's nobody around here that could deal with 6 snakes or whatever you want to call it. But that's exactly what happened. And we also had a lizard, a 4-foot lizard that escaped, and the women were going crazy because they knew it had escaped and they didn't know where it was. The thing was harmless, but the women didn't know it, and it was really
a true story from the pet shop located within that business right here.
That's correct.
A quick but exciting view of Winooski, and we're hoping that the viewers will now join in this part of the program. I want to thank both Jim Myers and Don Weston for joining us today, and we look forward now to your participation and give us the answers, but more importantly, stump the chumps. fellas.
Now
And-
we're on.
Did you hear the fighting going on
Oh,
there while they
man.
were watching this?
Our panel was arguing. They weren't quite sure of all the answers. Well, already a call?
Line one.
Line
Tell them we're
one.
not here.
Hi, you're on the air.
Pardon?
You're on with us.
I'm on with you. Okay, where do you want to start?
You tell us.
Okay, I got so many notes here, I don't know where I'm going.
Let's look out there, Don. There's our caller right there. At the
Okay, we're going to start with the tank.
Okay,
That was Reggie Snow.
correct.
Bingo.
Don't remember who he ran over.
You do or don't?
I don't.
I bet you the owner knew.
And on the one side of the street was a Strand Theater, the barber shop, and Sullum's.
Sullum's?
Strand Theater,
I got you. I want to know if my panel agrees. Correct.
Say that again.
and up above that was, just before the Strand Theater, was a apartment house, just next to the bridge.
Don, you remember all that? Correct. You're on a roll.
Okay, on the other side of the street, there was Levine's, Bill's Diner, Nate's, and Granger's.
Gentlemen? Is he correct?
We got some
Right into
MC
the
here.
mic, Bob, a little closer to the mic. That's it. And look right at the camera.
Of course,
Levine's, Bill's Diner, Nate's, and Granger's.
Now
I never remember Nate's.
That's on East Allen Street.
on
He
East.
was,
Nate,
he was saying it fast on the phone there, Herb. told
Well,
him maybe
he's
you sign
pretty
something by
darn
me.
good recollection.
Okay, and the thing is, the bell came from the fire station on Main Street across from the present fire station.
Correct, gentlemen?
Yes.
Right on.
Coming down, let's see.
We're going to give you 2 more questions to answer, all right?
Okay.
2 more. Go ahead, continue.
Let's see, I'm trying to think. I got Bally's.
Pretty good fellow.
Must
He
be a
was good.
French name.
Okay, let me pick something else that I can figure.
Wait a minute now. You've done
There's
very,
a
very
Heights,
well.
Fort Pick, Flats, and Main Street.
No, not Main Street. The Heights.
Downtown.
No.
Fort Pitt.
Don't. Don't tell the answer. You got
Heights.
3 of the 4. The
Heights.
Heights.
Fort Pick, the Flats,
That's correct. There's one more.
Main Street.
No.
Downtown.
No, that's not the one that we're told. We're thinking of one more that refers to an ethnic group. That's the only clue I'll give you.
An ethnic group.
Yep.
Has he got one for us, Herb?
But you now have to try to stump us.
Pardon?
You can stump you can now try to stump us, and boy, it's going to be a hard
I
question.
stump you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Right? 2 questions. Who was Judge Hawthorne? Where did he live? And what is the name of the shoe shine parlor that was under the corner of Granger's store on the corner of Main Street and East Allen Street?
Piece of cake. Gentlemen, take it away. Hello.
Judge Hawthorne. You lived on Hood Street,
See?
where Corey lives now.
Is that correct, caller?
That's correct.
And the ball field was named
Right.
after him, Hawthorne Field.
What kind of car do you drive?
An old Packard.
An old Packard.
Correct.
Correct. What else did you want to know?
What is the name of the shoe shine parlor that was underneath Granger's store
Oh, yeah.
on the corner
Yeah,
of
under the
Main
barber shop.
and East Allen Street?
Tell him, Ray. Come on. Bob,
Was it Pop Shiners?
You got it.
there you go. Hey, my friend, you've been on so long. You got this beautiful bright red hat for joining us here on Stump the Chumps.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for joining us. Okay, line 2. Hi, you're on the air.
Herb,
Hi.
West Allen Street. That was Forest Hills Factory Outlet.
Okay, but let's get to some questions about Forest Hills because Don here worked at Forest Hills for 19 years, and I challenge you to have a question about Forest Hills that he can't answer. Go ahead.
I'm sure he knows everything there is.
No, not everything. I'm just being facetious. You can tell that.
The country store.
All right.
Earl Wood was the owner.
What year did it open?
It was early 60s.
No, a little before that. Bob was telling me. It's the same year.
The same year that we closed our store.
The 58?
Close.
Close, very close.
59. Very, very close.
They had the Grossman's was down there.
Correct?
Over on the other side it was Gladstone Shoes.
Well, yes, that's
Later on.
right. But on the left-hand side of the entrance, Don asked that question on the
The
film.
laundromat.
Correct.
Yeah. And up on the corner there you were talking about where the light is just before you turn down to go to the mall.
Yeah.
Was a what was there was a car dealership.
Car dealership, gentlemen. Don? Car dealership.
Yeah, it was a dealer. It was a small dealer.
I don't know of any dealership.
It was Myers Auto Service.
Oh,
Oh, Myers,
that was-
yeah, Archie Meyer.
Right, Archie Myers.
yeah, that was,
He
yeah,
stole-
that was on the corner of
Yeah.
Buffalo and
Studebakers.
East
Yeah,
Okay, now, when was Hamburg Day at the country store?
Wednesday.
Wednesday, you're gonna say, Don, you thought it was Tuesday.
Tuesday.
How many pounds for $1? What was the bargain there?
3 for $1.
3 for $1.
Right
How
there.
about loaves of bread?
5 for $1.
5 for $1. We think we even got more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We think 7 for $1. We don't-
What happened to Merle Wood? How'd he die?
Well, he had a little accident there, I think.
No, he,
No?
no.
What
He
happened?
died, he died,
Merrill died of
he died in the
cancer.
hospital of cancer.
But he did have
Have
some
an
rough...
accident, the boat burned?
No, well, there was
No, he didn't die
a
in
couple of accidents on the lake,
He died a
yeah.
couple of them on the lake, but
Right.
he died in the hospital.
Caller, you got yourself a hat. How's that?
Okay.
Right here.
You're generous tonight, Herb.
Thanks a lot.
Yes, darn
We're
right.
going to line 1. Hi, you're on the air.
Mr. Blumenthal, I have a question for you.
Oh, I don't know anything about Winooski. You have to ask my
Now,
esteemed panel.
Mr. Blumenthal, going down Colchester Avenue,
Oh, no.
heading towards Winooski.
Yeah,
You pass Medical Center Hospital.
yeah,
Then you pass the Campus Kitchen, which is the best deli in town.
yes.
Mr. Blumenthal, my question for you is, where does Fitz go after leaving campus?
He goes down to Nectar's. He's got business to do at Nectar's. Okay, thanks for calling. Hi, you're on the air.
Hi, Herb.
Yes.
Across the entrance of the mall, the Champlain Mill Mall, the business that was across from it is the Deluxe Hotel.
Right, but the question is, what was a deluxe hotel called before it was a deluxe hotel?
I don't know that
Get 'em.
question.
Get him, Herb. That's
You'll-
good.
my
I have a
esteemed-
question for Mr. Wheel.
Yep.
Yes.
Where was the first Vermont paper and paint company located?
Oh, there's a good one. I know the answer to that, but only
Was
with...
that supposed to be in Winooski?
No, but he's stretching the rules. I'll allow it, but that's the only time I will. We're sticking to Winooski this
The
program.
corner of
Tell me
Champlain
your
Street and
agenda.
North Street.
Where?
Champlain and North.
No. Tell them where it is, Herb.
Yeah, it was on Archibald Street.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks for calling.
You didn't say the paper stuff.
Hi, you're on the air.
Yeah, Herb, that hotel you were talking about before.
Yes.
Wasn't that the Sims Hotel?
Man, that's not the name that I have.
Now,
You
Sims owned it at one time.
Right.
Okay.
okay? But I saw this in a picture. You think I know Winooski? I don't know squat about Winooski. That's why I brought in our esteemed panel.
On the corner there, just around the hotel, there was a gas station there too. It was an Esso station.
These fellas know it. What was it?
Sweeney's.
Sweeney-
Oh,
what?
the gas station?
Huh?
was
Right next to the
Sweeney's.
gas station was a flower shop.
Yeah.
Reedy's was the flower shop.
Yeah, and there was an Esso station on the corner. Then you went up. There was Epstein's. Was right there across the road.
Yeah. What were the name of the 2 Epstein girls?
I don't know. And then the American restaurant was up the road on the same side.
Yeah.
And then Bernardini's across the road. Remember Bernardini's?
Of course.
Oh, yes.
But
Yeah.
How's he doing?
before Epstein's, there was a business there before, the business before Epstein's.
Bob, you son of a gun, you're a great historian. That's why you and Ray are on this program. I'm telling you that. And these fellas, above all, know who made the most bromo seltzers in the entire city of Winooski.
Oh, yeah, we know that one.
I went there when I was a kid. I saw it. I couldn't believe there were so many people that had upset stomachs in Winooski.
Okay.
I'm throwing off that hat. I've had it with that hat. Our number. You've seen it on the screen, so I'm going to line 2. Hi. Hi, you're on the air. Hello?
On the Strand Theater.
Yes, sir.
George Maynard was an usher and manager. His brother ran the projection. Both his brothers ran the projector. And at one time, Armand Beaupre and Vern Merchant were ushers, and I threw that sucker out of there more times than you can think of.
Why, have a heart. I mean, these guys didn't have a nickel to their name, and you threw them out. Who was a projectionist?
Projectionist.
Yeah.
George was for a while.
Well, yeah, I'm thinking of another one. You're right, but I think there was another one that was.
Both brothers at one time were projectionists.
Okay, but
Bill was a projectionist.
my information was that Merrill Jarvis was also a projectionist there. Is
That was after.
After.
Was way after.
Okay.
George Valley owned the theater.
Now, the real question, and we don't know the answer, what was the last picture shown at the Strand Theater?
What was the last picture shown at the Strand Theater?
There must be an echo here. I think I just asked that.
I think it was, don't know.
Boy, that's a
good one, because nobody knows that.
Because, you know, you'd have to think, when did the Strand close? And you could look up at the Free Press and, and find that answer out. But
Why did we
listen,
do that?
my friend.
Already got a hat.
You got one already?
How about a bottle of banana?
Banal will be good. There it goes. Oh, right on the floor. Thanks for calling. Whoa, we got an open line for once, but not for long, I don't think. Well, that one's.
Did we get the assistant
Hey,
manager?
the
at
lines
Strand?
are open,
The
fellas.
The assistant manager. Did we get the usher / assistant manager?
I think they about hit it.
We got three of them, the three brothers. We got them guys, right?
Okay.
That's
Don, you're going to have to talk loud into the mic over there. Here, we're going to bring people up to a little more recent days, but for a little bit.
More recent or?
Yeah, more recent. What were the 4 original Little League teams in Winooski? What was the mix? There was a little Mexican restaurant on Main Street in Winooski for a while. What was it called? Hi, you're on the air.
17, you're on the air. Oh,
Yep, I'm on the wrong line.
it's all right. Take that
I'll
call.
take this one. Hi, you're on the air.
Hi.
Yes.
Talking about the business before Epstein's, it used to be New York Laundries.
Gentlemen?
Well, before Epstein, you had a hardware store.
Closer to the mic a little bit.
You had a hardware store.
Lesage Hardware.
Lesage Hardware.
I don't remember
That was on the corner.
That was on the corner where Epstein was.
Right next to Epstein's.
Yeah, next to Epstein.
The other business there, just down on East Allen Street and Main Street, was Green Mountain Lunch. It was Jack McGraw.
Green Mountain Lunch, the scene of a very sad event. A murder occurred there, correct?
Correct. Jack McGraw.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you very much. You got one that's going to stump us?
Not really, because I think you guys are a little older than I am.
Well, we appreciate you chipping in here, all right?
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hi, you're on the air. What did I do? Hi, you're on the air.
Hi.
Yes.
Right next to Green Mountain Lunch, that pool room that was there was Waltz. What was it before Waltz?
Before Walt's pool room, gentlemen.
Was it Seymour's?
Seymour's.
Amy Seymour's.
Okay, well, the Star Bakery used to be, who owned that?
Trono. John Trono.
Trono's right. At the Deluxe Restaurant, who ran that on the corner of...
Smitty Richard.
Okay, who ran it after?
No problem. After Smitty, who ran it? Don?
I think it was Rodney French, if I'm not mistaken. That might be a...
Rodney French.
No, I don't remember no Rodney.
Well.
Okay, there was an AMP right on the following corner, East Canal and Main.
Yeah.
Center.
Oh, wait a minute, hold on.
Sorry, on East Canal.
No, East Center and Main.
East Center and Main was not the AMP. I'm sorry, it was the First National.
Okay, the First Now. Who ran that?
At one time, Harvey Munier was the manager.
No, there was...
Yeah, why don't we just take off from here? They don't need us.
I gotta go to the bathroom anyway.
And there was a fellow by the name of Adams that ran it.
Yeah, that's right.
And before him was Wayne LaViere.
Right. The White Bargain Store, did you hit that yet, or you didn't?
Why?
That was run by Sam Alpert. His son ran Gigi's in Burlington.
Okay, right across the street was Hanson Shoes. Who ran that?
With the Hanson family.
Oh, right.
Good one. Good logical. That's what I would have said. Ma'am, I have a question. Why in Winooski, if I go in there, why do they go into a diner and they say, give me some am and hegs? Why do they say am and hegs? And why do they say, give me some bacon, side by each, and 2 hegs looking at the sun? I don't understand that. I don't know. Thank you very much for calling me. How would you like a hat? You got
Very
this hat.
good.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you for calling.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hi, you're on the air. Oh. Hi, you're on the air.
One question.
Yeah.
Who was the name of the first engineer and the fire chief of the Winooski Fire Department in the late 50s?
A piece of cake. Gentlemen?
Fire chief in the late 50s. Was it Morris Blanchard?
Well, I think he hung up to hear the answer. He knew darn well you were going to get it right. I know that. I have a question. Who was the very first mayor of the city of Winooski? And when was the city of Winooski incorporated? What year?
1922.
You son of a gun, Bob. You know your history.
And the first mayor was Bailey.
Yeah?
In fact, his wife, I believe, is still living, Consuelo.
Uh-huh.
Consuelo Bailey?
I think she died.
Yeah, I think she passed away.
Consuelo died.
Now, do you ever recall a postmaster general ever visiting the city of Winooski?
Jim Farley.
Jim Farley is correct. Now, there was a vice president that came to Winooski. Ray, you remember the vice president coming?
Lyndon Johnson.
And what was the purpose of his visit to Winooski?
To inaugurate the new post office.
Absolutely right.
And
now,
he spent time at Russell Nickett's house.
See? And I know that there was a coffee house on Main Street. Who remembers the name of that coffee house on Main Street and supposedly what happened at the same time that LBJ made that visit? Supposedly something happened at the coffee house. Our number, 862-3966. Give us a ring. Hi, you're on the air.
He was wrong. In the late 50s, it was Paul Gunther was fire chief, and the first engineer was Henry Merchant.
Yeah, you're right. Okay.
We stand corrected, sir. And for that, you get this bright orange hat here, courtesy of Stump and Chumps.
Tonight. I love this program.
Do ya?
Breaking my brain.
Hey, beautiful.
Caller, who's the what was the fire department known as before it became the Winooski Fire Department?
What was it known as?
It had another name in the earlier days, before it became Winooski Fire Department.
Well, you're going back before me now.
Well,
you went back with that first fire chief.
That's right.
50.
I'm only 17.
All right. Thanks very much for calling. Hi, you're on the air.
Hi. I'm just calling to inform you of the name of the hotel that you've been looking for. I guess it's the Franklin Hotel. It was on East Canal.
Yeah, but was it? I have another name other than the Franklin. Didn't we see on the picture the
No, that's
name?
not. She's saying East Canal. I don't have. That is East Canal. Never mind.
The one with the veranda on around the outside, huh?
This is the one that was located next to the Champlain Mill.
Yeah.
That area. Yeah, it's the Franklin.
We saw a picture of it yesterday, Don, right?
That's correct.
And
I believe it
With the
is.
pool hall on the left side of it.
Yeah, and it had the name up there, and it was called what?
It was called the Brunswick.
The Brunswick, ma'am, is the information we have, unless there's another hotel.
Brunswick?
Yeah, that's going way back. I mean, that picture was
Yeah.
like from the 20s.
Yeah.
So your picture was in the 20s?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's interesting. Well, it must have been after then.
Well,
Okay.
we appreciate your call.
All right, thanks.
Thanks.
Bye.
Goodbye. Our number, 862-3966. Jump right in. I'm looking for the Little Mexican Restaurant. Back in the mid-'60s, late '60s. Lasted a short time. Still looking for the 4 original Little League teams in Winooski.
Where did you get that question
It was a
from?
beautiful. Now, nobody's even taken a shot at the infamous mill. And Bob and Ray have a more interesting question. What was the mill before it was a mill? Right? You fellas know it. Julie's Mill place. You told me that it was the site of another business. We're still looking for that. We'll give the answer out very soon. Are we on? Line 1. Hi, you're on the air. Hello.
You're talking about Winooski?
Yeah, that's the nature of this program. Yes, sir.
Okay, now Smitty owned the Hotel Franklin, when it was in front of the mill.
Okay. Smitty owned the
His
whole...
horses moved that a long time before he bought it.
Yeah.
Well, I just thought I'd tell you.
Oh, I appreciate your information, sir. You got any other question you want to stump us with?
No, he lives in Belvedere.
Great. We appreciate the information.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Everybody got some.
I knew you would, Al. I'm running out of my questions here.
I know, because you've been hogging all the questions.
Go ahead with yours. Right, you
I
guys
can tell
don't-
that right now. I need to know who the last and only motorcycle cop was in Winooski. And I need to know the name of the bowling alley in Winooski. And the RVA over on Canal Street, what was that in concern with the mill before it was the RVA? That's 3 I just thought I'd throw.
Line 1. Hi, you're on the air. Hello.
Allen Street, on East Allen Street, where the photo is and beverage warehouse is right now.
Yeah.
From the corner, I think it's called East Street, from the corner to the existing building, which includes the video store and the quick photo, what were the buildings that existed there before?
Bob and Ray?
Owned them.
Yeah.
And what was in the beverage warehouse before it became a beverage warehouse?
All right, hold on, sir. You're going to get your complete answer right now.
Well, I believe before it became the beverage warehouse, it was owned by Demers, and they used to make cement blocks there. And where the video place is, used to be Zum's Texaco station.
That's correct, but before that.
Wow. Now we're getting back there. Ray?
Before, I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
Before
Originally.
Man, that's going back.
You got me on that one there.
Well, we give up. What have you got for answers for us?
Before it became the beverage warehouse and before it became where they made bricks, it was a dry kill for the Porter Screen Company.
Holy mackerel, you've done some homework, my friend.
No, I lived there. From the corner on down were 3 houses that belonged to the Porter Screen Company. One was a farm. Right now, where the quick photo is, that was a farmhouse. Behind that was a barn. Next to it was another little red house. That also belonged to Porter Screen. And up on East Spring Street, where they used to have a, where they got their water to supply the Porter Screen Company, there was another house up there. Anybody know who used to live in there?
Mr. Cameron.
Mr. Cameron.
No? I can't remember his name. That's why I'm asking you.
Sounds like us. We don't know. He sounds like us
St.
now.
Stephen's Church.
Somebody listening, please tell us who used to live there. It wasn't Mr. Cameron.
I got one question.
Yeah, go ahead, Doc.
I got one question. Up on Upper Main Street, there's a flower shop right there. What I want to know is, what was it called before it was a flower shop, and who owned it?
Green Mountain Hardware.
Oh.
Who
owned it?
It belonged to. Why did you ask me that? I could have told you. It belonged to Markets.
Yeah, you're right.
Where was the hardware store before Markets?
Man.
Well, there was a hardware store down the bottom of Main Street.
No, where was Markets hardware store before they built that building?
Across the road.
You got it.
Way to go. Way to get him. We didn't want to be...
Give him a hat, Herb.
He's got a hat.
I got so many hats.
Yeah, another bottle of Banal.
Banal. There you go. Oh, my God. Right on the floor.
Where do I come pick up all these hats?
Right on the corner of Winooski Avenue and Archibald Street. All right? Yeah. All right.
Don't drink the Banal.
Okay, we're going to go to line 2. I hope we have a call there. Hi, you're on the air.
The last police officer in Winooski was Felix Bissonette, and he drove a Harley Davidson.
Very good.
Absolutely right.
Beautiful. How about a question for us? No, I guess
That guy's quick, you know what?
I got a cold.
He must be wanted by the law. They can't trace his calls this way.
Oh. Okay. I want to know, and this came courtesy of Bob Clavelle, what sport was mentioned having been played in the 40s in Winooski that placed Winooski in the top 10 in the country? And mentioned Winooski in Life magazine. Take over.
He's all set. He's all set. Yes. Yes.
Ah, you're on. I have an answer. Who lived? Yes?
You turn your radio down or your TV down or whatever you're listening or watching on?
I was going to give you the name of who owned the bowling alley.
Yes.
Bob Pollinger and Fred Richard.
That's correct. Yeah.
And I was going to tell you who lives in a little red house in back St. Stephen's Church.
Uh-oh.
When it burnt, it was Paul Martin. Lived in that house until it burnt to the ground.
Paul Martin, we agree on that? We got stump looks on our faces here.
Where's Stump? I don't remember. I remember where the house
my
was.
husband's father lived there, and when the house was burnt.
Yeah.
Huh. No, we'll have to take your word on that one. You got
It was Mr. Father McGarry lived there at that time.
Father McGarry, did you say?
Father McGarry was at St. Stephen's Church at the time that little red house burnt. It was during World War II. So it was between 41 and 45 when the house was burnt.
No, I don't know who lived there. I remember the house, though.
Tell Ray it's Leonard Martin's father that lived there.
Leonard Martin's father.
Leonard Martin, yeah, now I know.
Yeah. He was in the service when the house burned.
It's coming back to me now.
And Pollinger, Fred Richard, my neighbor, owned it with Bob Pollinger.
But were they the last ones to own it, or wasn't it to Henry Brunel?
It might have been.
I think Henry bought it from Bob.
I think you're right, Bob.
I think after Bob drowned.
I think you're right.
I know, I used to bowl up there, that's why I know.
See, Don says it's right, too.
Yeah, me too.
Ma'am, how about a hat for you? You got one. You stumped the Chumps. You did a nice job. I didn't miss a thing. I stepped off camera and they're coming
I'm
up with
dying over
answers.
there. Your clones, his clone's in now.
But you guys are doing a nice
Ernie.
job. See, you thought it would be hard, Clavelle's? No, sir. You know everything. Don, you're helping him out.
Don't forget to lie to him
Hi,
if you don't know.
you're on the air.
Hi, I'm calling. The name of that Mexican restaurant was the Green Man.
The Green Man is absolutely right. Now,
And that was in the place that now is Sneakers. But I have a question for you.
yeah.
What was the name of the shoe shine parlor next door, and what actually went on in that?
Hold on now.
Oh,
Hold on.
they're getting close to the table now.
Yes, sir.
Was that Cammy's? And they used to play poker all the time?
They did a lot in the back room there, but it was Cammy's. You're right.
That's right.
Now, sir,
It was Speakeasy.
who owned the Green Man?
Oh yeah, that's the fellow that started the Bagel Bakery.
That's
out there in
correct.
Washington. Yeah.
It was Marty
Marty something.
Feldman.
Feldman, right.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Thanks a lot for calling.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, we got line one. Hi, we're on a roll. You're on with us.
Hi, there was a Star Bakery in Winooski. There was also another bakery.
No problem. Gentlemen?
Mulquin's Bakery.
What was it?
Mulquin's Bakery.
I'm talking about one that was on Malice Bay Avenue.
Mallett's Bay Avenue. Come on, Ray.
Got me on that one here.
Don, you don't remember, but
You know they got
Ray's,
us.
no, Ray's thinking
No,
about
I'm
it.
thinking.
Mallett's Bay Avenue, a
Malice Bay
bakery.
Avenue.
Moquin's, I know.
Well, this, ma'am, I think you stumped them.
Vilmer's Bakery.
Villamare's.
No.
Darn it, that
Kinda didn't
usually
work that
comes-
Pepin.
P-shapes.
You're right.
Pepin.
Pepins. I had the P right.
Yeah, you had that right.
Man,
Pepin was
how about
up
a
on
hat
me.
for you?
Okay, that makes my second one.
No, then now I'm taking it back. You only got one head.
I'm out of here.
All right, thanks for calling. We got another call? I don't know. Hi, you're on the air.
I have a question.
You.
Where did Father McGarry hold Mass before the church was built?
Man, that sounds like a theme song. Where was Father McGarry's Mass held before the church was built? You could hum a tune to that.
I guess, it was way before my time, I can tell you that.
Well, they're thinking. These fellas are
You're
thinking.
older than I am, but I can see you.
Well, what do you think, gentlemen?
Yeah, it still was way before my time.
Think he's got him.
I think they got him. Like, nothing? No guess? We give up.
Right in the back of where his house is, in the barn.
In the barn.
Well, it was a garage, not a barn.
Well,
7 pews and an altar, and that was
He's
it.
got a stump. I
he
believe.
stumped us.
That's 2 in a row.
Have you got a hat, sir?
No, sir.
You got one now. You can pick it up right above the laundromat on North Winooski and Archibald Streets.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for calling. And we're going to line one. Hi, you're on the air.
Yeah, Green Man
Yeah, the Green Man.
at Winooski.
That's correct.
That wasn't Roy Fieldman that started that. That was Marty Swartz.
I blew it. You're right. It was-
Is this? Do I get a free hat over this?
Is
Sure
this
do.
Fitzy?
Yes.
Fitzy, what are you doing here and not at Nectar's? Huh? You got things to do. Keep busy. You got another hat.
Okay.
All right,
thank you.
thanks. Yeah, line two. Hi, you're on the air.
Yeah, hi. Oakman's Bakery.
Oakman's? Moquin's, yes.
When they left Winooski.
Yeah.
First of all, what were their names that owned it?
Yeah.
And when they left Winooski, where did they?
No sweat. Hold on, sir. We'll give you the answers.
17th. Good.
Oops. What were their names?
Was it Henry?
You know what?
Was it Henry?
Henry?
No.
No. Don, any idea?
No, I remember the bakery.
Well, there
That
was,
was
they had a son by the name of John. And,
Well, I know they went to South Champlain Street in Burlington.
He had 2 sons.
yeah.
John, we'll say
One of-
John Jr.
No.
No. We don't know. Who were they?
Was it Rita and Leonard?
Yeah.
Leonard, that's right.
You got us.
Yeah, he married Rita
Man, you-
Provo.
Yeah. Where did they go after they left Winooski?
Well, he went to Burlington.
Yeah, but where?
Well, don't be such in a hurry here. Hold on. I believe that Moquin's was located on South Champlain Street.
No.
Well, I believe wrong then.
Hey, after that, where'd they go?
After South Champlain?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Didn't they merge with Gerard Baking?
If they merge with Gerard, they're on the corner of Cherry in South Champlain.
They merged with Amon. No, they went to that little place next to McDonald's on.
You're right. You're right.
Yes.
On Austin Road.
Have you got a hat already, sir?
No.
You've got one now. It's right there.
It's a beauty.
And see what you get for not watching the news? You got a tangible reward.
Okay.
And less headaches, too, I might add.
There you go.
Maybe a couple chuckles. Thanks for calling. I don't know if we got one here or not. Hi, you're on the air. Well, hi, you're on with us.
Yeah, Upper Main Street in Winooski, there used to be a little yellow building on the left. It used to be Teresa's Beauty Salon.
Yeah.
Before that, it was Tiny's Barber Shop. What was there prior to Tiny's Barber Shop?
Wasn't that where Marcus had his hardware store? Then before that, he had a grocery store.
No, that was there was something in there right before Tiny's Barber Shop, right after the hardware store.
Come on.
Maybe a pair.
Don should remember this one.
Don should know. Come on.
Yeah.
Not another pool hall, Don.
Come on, Sabu, you know it.
Not another pool hall.
Wait a minute. You got me thinking now. I mean,
Someplace you frequented, obviously.
Yes, he did.
Uh-oh.
Like I said, not another pool hall, Don.
No, not a bar either.
no, I gotta learn how to play pool first.
Oh,
before you
yeah.
go to pool.
Not a card shop.
No.
Oh, was it barber shop?
Before the barber shop, before Tiny's.
Before Tiny's.
On the left.
Vilmer's Baby Apparel.
No.
A&C Sports Shop.
No.
I don't know. You win. You beat us, fella.
It was the Winooski JC's.
The Winooski JC's warrants you a hat.
You know what?
How's that?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You know what, Herb?
What's that, Al?
We trained for 7 rounds. This fight's going 10 because we're sinking fast.
We're running out of hats here. Hi, you're on the air. Hello. Yo. Hi, you're on with us.
Hi, I don't have a stump, but I just want to tell you I haven't had so much fun in a very long time.
Well, we appreciate
Thank you very much.
Well, you're certainly welcome. We're here to keep the place lively, and I owe it all to my esteemed panel of experts
We
here.
need all the fans we can get.
Yes, sir. We're going network-wise. To heck with this Channel 17 baloney. Hey, we're going to line 1 here, see what's going on. Whoa, I've got a frog in his throat. I got a question, fellas. We're talking Levine's Funeral Parlor. I asked you before, so I'll throw it out there. Levine's Funeral Parlor, to the best of my information, I want to know, well, number one, you should know this, who owned it? Who owned that particular building? And my question is that the original building still there? What's the story with the site of Levine's Funeral Home? Give us a ring. I'm going to line 1. Hi, you're on the air.
I should know the answer to that, but I don't. But I have a question.
Yeah.
Going up Main Street in Winooski, on the right-hand side, as you cross the railroad bridge, or the pass going over the bridge, there was a business there. What was the name of the business?
It used to be wasn't it Fraser Shoe Stop?
You got it.
See, I'm telling you, my friend, these guys know their stuff.
What was your question about Levine's?
Yeah, I want to know who owned it. Who owned it prior to it becoming Levine's, and I want to know if, in fact, that's the same building that's always been there.
Levine's on where? On Main Street?
Yes, on Main.
Or on East Ellen Street?
No, it's the one on Main Street.
The one on Main Street?
Yeah, we're going way back.
You're going way back?
Yeah. Who owned it?
Who owned it?
And what, is that the original building?
It's the original building.
No, it's not. That's the trick question. It's not the original building.
Building. As to who owned it.
Right.
Well, I used to live next. Odd question. What was in his parking lot?
Now, gentlemen, what was in the parking lot?
What was in his parking lot on? Can't remember the name of the street. Union Street.
Union Street.
Well, the parking lot used to be the Bob Pichet's, the old homestead of the Pichet's, where Levine's parking lot is. The second one, the one that he bought, is where the Pichets used to live.
And Mignon used to live the house before Pichet. So when they put the parking lot, they took over 2 houses.
Correct.
See?
One was a
Mignon.
Mignon.
Sonny Mignon's parents and Mrs. Pichet.
As far as I know, that was an original building, and it used to be Doctor somebody.
Well, yes, doctor is correct. Here's the information I have. It was That's correct.
Dr. Stackpole.
Dr.
No.
Tabo.
Oh, Tabo.
Dr. Tabo. And then he had his original building that he tore down, that he didn't tear down, he moved it. That building was moved to another location. Where was it? Okay, that's the question. But we thank you very much for calling.
Another question.
Oh, you got one more.
Behind Levine's, there is a brick building.
Yeah.
What was in there? What was it used for?
Brick building, gentlemen.
That was
For the fire station now.
Yeah.
That was Richard.
Yes.
He was an undertaker, and that's where he stored his caskets.
You're a smart sucker.
Son of a gun. Thank you very much for calling.
Wow.
Hi, you're on the air.
Yes.
Yes. Turn down that TV just a little bit, ma'am.
Turn down your TV, Homer.
There.
Turn down your...
Homer who?
Quick.
Homer...
Yeah.
Who would you
This
say?
is Ruth Bouchard.
Hi, Ruth. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good.
You're very talkative.
What?
Very nice.
Well, I try to be, but it's only because the panel puts me at ease. Holy mackerel, what's that? That's feedback, I'll tell you that.
Nintendo or something.
Ma'am, go ahead.
Just my husband goofed.
Well, go ahead. You got a question for us?
No, I have an answer.
Beautiful.
A.B. Levine. That house, turn it down, Homer. Turn it down.
Homer.
The house that A.B. Levine now has his funeral parlor in has been moved next to the KC's on Weaver Street in Winooski.
Absolutely right. Isn't that something, man? I tell you what, that
That's a
warrants
banana one.
There's a...
That's a banana.
Don't throw it. Please, you ruined
All right.
the floor. You ruined the floor. Ma'am, we're on the corner of North Winooski and Archibald Street above the laundromat, and either a hat or some banals here for you.
She can't have that last one.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. See, this is a high-budget program, folks. We throw banal at them. Hi, you're on the air.
I got one. I'm sorry. You're driving me nuts. I got one more question.
Yeah, go ahead.
On top of Main Street in Winooski, there's a go-go station.
Yeah.
And behind that is a block building. In the, like, say from 49, 50, maybe 46.
Yeah.
What was in that building and who owned it?
Bob.
I think Norm Mercure owned it. It was a beverage. I think it used to be called the Acme Beverage. Bottling
Name of
place.
it.
A bottling business, and it was
It was
called?
beverage. I believe it was called the Acme. Acme Beverage Corporation.
Acme Beverage.
You know what? I found 2 bottles that belong there.
Now, you save them, they'll be worth a lot more than our bottle of banal, I'll tell you that.
Oh, there. Caller, who owned a gas station where the go-go station is now?
Who owned the gas
What semi
station is now? There was 3
famous
owners.
personality?
One of them was Richard.
No, that's not the one I'm looking for. This is a semi-famous person from Winooski.
He was a I'm not good at stock car racing, but he was a stock car racer.
You're on to it.
And I can't remember his name. Not Spillane, no.
Wasn't Petty.
No, I can't remember that.
Wasn't A.J. Foy, no.
No, I can't remember that. No.
Okay, well, that's close.
Well, we
What was up where the Winooski High School was before it was Winooski High School?
Gentlemen, Winooski High School site. What was over there? Don, what do you remember where Winooski High School is now?
I can't remember anything except the field over there before the building.
That's all I can remember.
Just open fields.
Open field is right.
That's it. We got an answer right.
Hey, I finally made one.
That matches a lot of open
That'll
space
take
up
care of
here on
that.
the panel, too. Hi, you're on the air.
Hello.
Yes.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Back in 1950,
Yes.
who owned and operated a snack bar
A snack bar.
on Upper Main Street where the rat cellar is now?
Where the rat skeller is now, gentlemen. Who owned it?
Well, that was Teddy Niekat and Gert.
Teddy and Gert Niekat.
What was a snack?
I'm sorry?
What's the name of the snack bar?
What was the name of the snack bar? Ted and Gert.
Ted and Gert's.
Nope.
Wrong again. What's the answer, ma'am?
Ted's Snack Bar?
Ted's Snack Bar. She's being very specific on us.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Okay.
All right.
Oh.
Hi, you're on the air.
No, she's not.
No, not yet. Hi, you're on the air.
Yes, that station in Winooski was Tom Tiller's station.
Bingo.
Bingo is right. You got us. Now stump us now. It's your turn to stump us.
Another gas station on East Allen Street,
Of course. We know that.
probably in front of the beverage.
Yeah.
Who was it? Who owned it?
Well, Zum LaPointe had his Texaco station.
That's right.
Oh, that's right. Now, the question is for you, caller. What was Zum LaPointe's real first name? Huh? There's one. And here's another Winooski name. If I can find it here. What was Pepper Martin's real name? Remember Pepper Martin?
Arthur?
I don't know myself.
Harvey.
Harvey. Close, so. And you want to give a shot at Zum LaPointe's
Was
first
his
name?
son named Art?
Maybe. What was Zum LaPointe's real first name?
George?
George is absolutely right. And I can tell by your voice you've already received Benalg. You already have a hat. But we appreciate your contributions at this point anyway.
Thank you, Herb.
Yes, sir. I know my callers by now. Hi, you're on the air. Hi, you're on the air.
Hi.
Yes.
I have a question for Mr. Al Wheel.
Take it away, Al.
Okay. During the time that the cavalry was at Fort Ethan Allen, there was a restaurant on the corner of Main and East Allen Street. Can you tell me what the name of the restaurant was and the full name of the person that owned it?
Good luck, Al. Good luck.
It wasn't me, I know that.
No, but I'll tell you, the two gentlemen on your right know the
During
answer.
the cavalry, we'll let them chomp at the bit on this. I had the foggiest idea.
Main and East Allen.
Main and East, they're redoing this.
Main and East Allen. Used to be, there was Bill's Diner.
Bill's Diner?
The only one.
Oh, what's it?
Bill's Diner.
Bill's Diner.
We
Can
got.
you tell me who owned it?
Well, at one time was the father owned it, was Joe Gavitt.
That's
And
correct.
then his son took it over from him, his son Bill.
Right.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you for participating. We've got 5 more minutes, and I'm sure
Well,
we're going to
that's
get.
not fair. Bill's Diner was there when I was a kid, not when the cavalry was there.
Well, I don't know. She wanted to
You were a
mislead
kid when the cavalry was there, but not me.
She wanted to miss. I'm surprised nobody's trying to get that.
Well, you own a horse, they think you know all the cavalry
Winooski
questions.
team was mentioned in Life magazine as having one of the top 10 teams in the country back in the 40s. What sport? What did I tell you a long time ago now? Speak when spoken to. Hi. Hey, you're on the air with us.
Okay. Question.
Yo.
Going down Barlow Street in Winooski
Yeah.
towards the IGA, there are 2 streets missing. There are 3 streets missing.
Mm-hmm.
On the corner of one of those streets was a business,
Yeah.
and in the field to the left was a very huge white house. What was the name of the building, the business? Who owned the large white house, because people were well known?
Yeah.
And what were the name of the streets?
Okay. Hold on. Here come your answers.
Well, of course, see, on the corner of East Center and Barlow, you had Ray Germain's Market. Then on the left, at one time, you had Norfolk's Market.
Norfolk's, right?
And I believe the big white house, was that owned by the Shaddies?
The house was owned by the Shaddies.
Son of a gun.
Going down Barlow Street,
Yeah, on the corner.
on the right, on the left-hand side,
Oh, on the left.
left-hand side was a business.
Yeah, you had Norfolk's Market, and then a little further down the Norfolk's Market, where you drive to the end, is where you used to have Moprin's Bakery.
Or Norfolk's Market.
Before Norfolk's. I don't know.
Before
Hold on. I'm more interested in the names of those 3 streets that aren't there anymore. What were the names of those streets?
Actually, the streets are not there anymore. It's just a continuation. East Center stopped.
Yes.
Ray Germain was on the corner of East Center and Barlow.
East Center.
And Barlow.
Barlow. And then going...
And then Norfolk was on the corner, on the left, going down.
Going straight down East Center Street, you ended up in the Fort Pick.
Right, yeah.
A little street that turned right, that went down towards the big white house.
What was that called, Ray?
I don't remember the street, but...
He's right, though. There was a street
yeah,
there.
there was a
There's
street
a little
there.
street there. The reason why I'm asking, because I don't remember the name of that street. You told me the name of the people that lived in the house. I forgot already. What'd you say they were?
Shaddies?
Shaddies.
Yes. Coming back again on the corner of East Center, Barlow was a big.
Well, there used to be, Moquin's Bakery had put up a brand new building there.
It was a business.
Moquin's Bakery had.
Yes.
Okay.
Moquin's Bakery.
Thank you very much, caller. We got it.
Bakery.
Right.
Bear Street.
Okay.
Bear Street.
Bear Street.
Bear Street, that's the one that was right down.
All right, fellas, we got to wrap it up. We can't take any more calls. I hope you've had fun. If we get more requests, we're going to carry this on to the next program, and with your cooperation and support, we'll continue to stump them. So, on behalf of Al and myself,
we're going to find out what our next show is right now.
When is our next show? We don't know.
Anytime we
but
want.
We will be getting plenty of advance publicity out on it for you folks, and it won't be listed incorrectly in the month's bulletin either. And if you want to be put on the mailing list, just call up the station, and they'll mail you the monthly bulletin. Again, for
November 6th,
Don, for
November
Bob,
6th,
Ray, Al, and
November
myself.
6th,
November 6th is a date to watch us. Goodbye.